vessel remains stable, and over the past few days the list has been gradually decreasing as the vessel starts to come upright. The ship is currently listing at 25 degrees. For those who were involved at the beginning of the incident, that's probably about half that she was on the first night of the incident. Since last week, the weather has been much more favourable, allowing the salvors to board the ship on a daily basis. The operation itself continues in accordance with the agreed plan, which I've had in place with the salvors. So removal of the water from the car decks has now been completed, and from now onwards, any further reduction in the list of the vessel will purely be down to the management of ballast water internally within the ship. Once this list has been reduced to approximately 15 to 20 degrees, and that may well be over the next few hours, and we think it's safe to do so, then MEIB inspectors will board the ship to gather essential evidence for their investigation to assist them in determining the cause and circumstances of the accident. Their investigation is conducted solely in the interest of future safety. I am in dialogue with them on a daily basis, not to see how the investigation is going. I will leave them and they will draw their own conclusions at the end of the day, but it's simply to ensure that their investigation is working alongside our salvage operation, and between us we're gathering and sharing the necessary information. Once MEIB have secured their evidence, then access to other parts of the vessel will be granted to the ship's crew, and we still have a small number of crew that have remained with us here in Southampton since the accident itself. They will assist the salvors in starting some of the essential ship systems and services, and that will allow us to use larger equipment, for example the ballast pumps, so that any future transfers we make, if we can get these services going, will be much quicker than using small portable pumps which are having to be manhandled around the vessel. Obviously the list has reduced significantly, but even at 25 degrees as it was this morning, it's still quite difficult and dangerous for the salvors to move around, and in particular when they're carrying heavy equipment. Detailed planning for moving the ship from QHM's jurisdiction at Portsmouth back to Southampton has taken place between the port, the pilots and the salvors. The actual time for the tow will be determined when we are satisfied that the ship is stable, that we're satisfied with the stability of the vessel, and also importantly when we've got the appropriate weather and tidal conditions for making that tow back up to the port. 2 pilots from the port of Southampton will be assisted with 4 tugs. Obviously the salvors will be on board, and there will be a ship's captain from the company and a number of the crew to help tie up the vessel when she gets safely back into Southampton. And she will be berthing on berth 101. Now it is expected, weather permitting, that the time for the tow from her current position until she gets alongside may well be in the region of about 4 hours. We're not expecting to impose any further restrictions to any other traffic using the port during that period. In fact, the tug will be treated as any other large container vessel that might be coming into the port, and the appropriate necessary restrictions will be in place, but we're asking for nothing different on that side. Salvors will remain in charge of the operation until the ship is safely alongside and until she is eventually handed back and delivered safely to her owners. This could take a couple of days. Obviously, there will need to be a good exchange between the crew who will take over responsibility for the vessel, and the salvors will have to show what works, what movements they've done on the vessel since taking charge of it after the accident. Thereafter, the owners, in cooperation with the port, will arrange for the safe discharge of the cargo in a controlled manner. This is likely to be a lengthy process and will not commence until we think it's safe for other external parties to go on board the ship. Obviously, if there has been some movement of cargo, then we need to be certain that access is in a controlled manner with due respect to safety. The Solent Environment Group continues to monitor the operation and although there has been no pollution, trained personnel and counter-pollution equipment remain on immediate readiness to respond should there be a requirement. And finally, with respect to the port, it's been business as usual, and they are simply treating this incident at this stage as a non-routine